Okay, so one important thing that people are gonna wonder is, can this save the game? Only time will tell with this. Only time will tell. The game has already been out. There's been a lot of returning players because of this major patch, and hopefully it makes the game fun again for people that already have the game. On my point of view, I already have the game, so if they make the game fun, they make the game fun again where I can just turn it on anytime I want to play Helldivers 2, and it's just a fun time. It's a good win. That's how I feel about it. I would like a game where I can occasionally check in on it and just anytime I log in and play it for a little bit, I have fun with it. That's just my opinion though. Will it save the game? Will the game go back to 500,000 players? Probably not. They have done way too many things that will probably never get back to 500,000 players ever again.
Hi, my name is Johan Pilestedt.
And I'm Niklas Malmborg.
Today we're diving into the patch notes of Helldivers 2. One of the major changes, or well, general changes that we've done is that we have increased the damage that you do when you do partial damage. So partial damage is when your armor penetration is the same as the target that you hit.
Normally you did half damage. Now you're doing like 2/3. We feel that it removes some of the sponginess. It feels better overall. You see it as with like stuff like the anti.
That's why everything was feeling weaker. Well, that's one of the reasons. I'm sure there's more.
Material rifle versus gunship, or the Liberator Penetrator versus the chest of a Devastator. Like it feels like it took way too many shots when you got into that position, and yeah, now it still matters, but it won't feel futile to try and get that damage in.
Nice.
I love the next one.
Yeah.
It's just
Headshot damage.
one of the reasons you suddenly died was like someone hit you in the head. It hurts. Maybe it hurt too much. So we lowered.
Someone hits you in the
damage
head, it's gonna
when
hurt.
You get hit in the head.
No way, that's crazy.
It does 50% more instead of 100% more damage. So let's take it down.
So it means that I will get less moments of those kind of sudden deaths.
Yes.
Especially against the bots, I assume.
I mean, the bugs hit you in the head surprisingly often.
Right.
So, yeah. So stuff will do more damage, but you will die like the sudden death type of thing will happen less.
Oh, okay. So that's why there was very little insta kills, because a lots of the bot projectiles would actually just hit you in the head and probably insta kill you, take half your life.
Right, and with that change as well, it's easier to get injuries again.
Yes.
So getting a broken arm, broken leg is going to happen a little bit more frequently.
Yeah, it's almost been like a feature that we've had that you never really saw, because normally you either like died or that didn't happen. Now you will have more broken legs, broken arms, the good stuff.
So return of Sweet Liberty, my leg.
Yes.
My leg!
We haven't done that much to the weapons that have currently been the most powerful, but we've done a lot to the weapons that wasn't like the top weapons.
Right. Yeah. So let's go through this list and talk a little bit about all of the weapons. So the first one is like the Liberator and Liberator Carbine. And as I said to the community several times, my favorite weapon is the Liberator. This time around, we've increased that.
No, these weapons are garbage. The Liberator Carbine, they're absolute garbage. Because why would you choose that over the laser weapons or the sickle, which has infinite ammo?
It's damaged a little bit from 60 to 70. We've increased the amount that it staggers enemies. We've given it a little bit more spare magazines and the amount of magazines that you start with. So it's just rounding it up to bring it up to the baseline for all other weapons to follow.
Yeah, because before you had like you could take the sickle, and it did almost the same thing as the Liberator. You just had infinite ammo. And now it's like, okay, the assault rifles are gonna do more damage. Like we're not nerfing the sickle in any way. Like let that be what it is, because it's really good. We just say,
yeah, this new way, they need to keep doing it this way, where they need to buff the weak weapons to where they're used more than the OP weapons or the meta weapons, I guess.
Like now you have a reason to take the assault rifles.
Oh, so assault rifle, more punch, more kick, more damage,
Yes, more assault.
more assault, and more rifle.
Yeah.
And then we have an additional fan favorite, the Liberator Concussive.
So we had drum mags lying around.
So it has a drum mag.
Yeah,
So what is that? 50, 60 rounds?
60 rounds.
Okay. But I assume
Wow,
that it's not
okay.
going to have the same amount of magazines as it has.
No. We dragged it down from 10 magazines to 6, which actually means that in total you have more bullets than before. So you went from, I think the total goes from 300 bullets to 360.
Okay. But there will be an additional mechanic with the concussive then. So if you reload early, you'll discard more rounds.
Yeah. And one of the things with the concussive is it's great at crowd control, but
Until it isn't.
yeah, until you have to reload it.
Yeah.
But if you have a bigger mag, it's 100% more crowd control.
Oh, that's cool.
Speaking of fan favorites, the breaker.
Oh, the breaker.
So
Have we finally reverted the breaker to what it was at launch?
yes.
Oh, they did. They reverted. Yeah, this thing was super, super strong on launch because it was comparable to the incendiary breaker, which set enemies on fire.
Yes, we have.
We have. Congrats.
Wait, you got more. It actually got more stagger.
Oh,
It can stagger.
It got
up to 12.
more.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And 16
Okay.
rounds per magazine.
Yes.
Nice.
And no, we didn't also take away magazines.
One exciting update this time around is spray and pray.
Oh.
It's one of those weapons that has been neglected. It's been sat there in a corner. It's done its thing.
Yeah.
But this time around, we've introduced a duckbill choke to the spray and pray, which means that the shotgun blast will spread out more horizontally than vertically.
Yes. And we increase the damage.
Oh, nice.
So it goes from 192 to 240.
Nice. Laser.
Lasers.
Sight.
We can maybe talk about this like in all the lasers, but the size, yeah, we start there. We gave it a low-powered scope because that seemed reasonable with how accurate it is.
Right. So lasers travel fast, and therefore you can be pretty accurate with it.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? And one thing we've done for all the laser weapons is they set enemies on fire faster.
Okay.
Like last patch we added,
okay.
so they actually set things on fire. Normally, when it got set on fire,
I'm wondering if they actually buff the overall damage of fire too. Yeah, because this was kind of stealth patched in when the lasers could start setting things on fire.
it was already dead. So now it sets on fire faster.
Okay, so you basically went out with a magnifying glass and tested it out.
Yeah, for research.
Also, the recoil has been reduced quite a lot on laser weapons.
Yeah, we removed it.
Oh,
So, because that makes sense.
yeah, right. Laser doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Imagine having a laser pen as a presenter and that had recoil. It would be a horrible presentation.
Oh, another favorite, the crossbow. It has had so many changes at this point.
Yeah.
But I think we're finally there. When it was introduced, it had a big explosion radius and it did a lot of damage. So what we did was we gave it a big explosion that did a lot of damage. So I think
Wow, amazing.
Okay.
I think we went full circle.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So when the crossbow first came out, it was fairly powerful, so they nerfed it, and now they're just putting it back to where it was when it first launched, which is what they needed to do. Why they nerfed that thing was so stupid.
Except that it's also one-handed now.
This one is one that nobody asked for, but we did it anyways. And that is the Eruptor.
Yes.
We brought the shrapnel back.
This was my favorite weapon when it first launched, the Eruptor. It had such a huge explosion radius and can just one-tap most enemies with a direct hit. And it had exploding shrapnel, so when you hit something, then small particles would fan out and explode as well on nearby enemies.
Yeah. We're finally there. We finally had time to do it properly. It has shrapnel. It is not when it was introduced, it actually had the wrong shrapnel. Like it did potentially over 9,000 in damage.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
It's over 9,000.
That's a,
it is over
that's
9,000.
that's a lot of damage.
Now it won't do that much, but it still has a lot of shrapnel. It feels good. It's what it's supposed to have been.
Right. And but did you remove the explosion?
No.
Okay. So it's explosion and shrapnel.
Yeah.
And then going back into some other older weapons, the Defender.
Yeah, I mean, we adjusted it slightly. It was just slightly too weak. So
Oh, really? This weapon was never used. I used this maybe once to see how it was, and it was just never used because there's no point to use it over other weapons.
we increased the damage a little bit, and that's it. After that, though, we have a weapon that wasn't that good, but a lot of people used it, and it was a favorite. It's the Liberator Penetrator.
Okay. And
We upped the damage.
okay, so and the Liberator Penetrator now.
Good. There was no reason to use this either because you would always just use the infinite ammo weapons when this thing was launched.
Now is at the power level where the regular Liberator was before.
Yeah, we increased it from 45 to 60.
Yeah. So that means that it will shoot as the Liberator did, but punch through armor.
Yes.
So it will do more.
Oh,
More.
more,
Okay.
more damage, more penetration.
And then we have the marksman rifles.
Yeah, so let's talk about those in like a bunch. The diligence and the counter sniper. So
So these weapons, once the eruptor, the exploding sniper rifle, was launched, there was no reason to use most of these sniper rifles at all. There just wasn't, because it was so weak comparables. Because why would you use a high damage sniper rifle when you can use a very high damage sniper rifle with shrapnel and exploding? There's just no reason to use it.
So we just took them to 11. Just like 125 damage from diligence, let's go to 165. That makes a lot of difference when, like, if you're shooting at a hunter, it dies in one shot. Hit the body, dies in one shot. Shooting at a warrior, hit the head, dies in one shot.
Okay, so you mean with the regular diligence, people will be able to live out their marksman fantasies against the bugs and just go from headshot to headshot to headshot?
Yes. And if you have really like those marksman's fantasies, then you just go to the counter sniper, because we took it up to 200 damage, and we increased the stagger force and the damage versus durable. We like more than tripled it. So
it doesn't matter if I just hit a devastator, they'll wobble around.
no, but a warrior will.
Okay. Okay. So if I just hit a warrior, they'll just wobble around.
Yes.
So if you miss the shot, then you'll be able to take a second shot.
Oh yeah, now we have one of the powerful weapons that maybe we shouldn't touch because it's really good, was the Blitzer. But we touched it anyway.
Okay. Where did you touch it?
I touched it on the stun button. So
Where did you touch
all the
it?
arc weapons on the arc weaponry, like the Tesla Tower, the arc thrower, the Blitzer, they now also stack up a stun value at the target, just like the pummeler.
Okay, so you
Oh.
can crowd control more efficiently with the Blitzer now than you could before.
Yes.
Okay, so the Blitzer was an infinite ammo weapon. It's an infinite ammo arc throwing shotgun. It did ridiculous damage. They buffed it to increase its fire rates. Now they just buffed it again to give it a stun on top of that fire rate. That's pretty good.
So we've done some major adjustment to all the flame weapons.
Yeah, we
Good.
just went back.
Oh.
We reverted it.
Yeah.
As we
Oh.
should have.
But I thought we couldn't revert it.
Life finds a way.
Okay.
Like
So
there was some stuff to go through, but it was the right thing to do. So everything's possible if you put enough time into it.
okay. And the flame weapons has also gotten an armor penetration increase.
Yes, from 3 to 4. What that basically means is, do you want to flame a charger? Do you want to flame a Hulk?
Oh my god, thank you. So the flame weapons, when the game launched, the flame weapons were fairly weak. They did a buff where it increased the damage by an extra 50%. Then at some point they nerfed it, and it was just completely useless. For months, it was just completely useless.
Go ahead.
Right. So the short range of the flamethrower is going to be. I mean, it's still a problem that you have short range with a flamethrower, but
you'll be rewarded better for that. You're giving up your range, so we also think like, let's also give you more damage. The torture does 50% more damage.
So, and this means that I can have flame offs with the Hulks.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I haven't tried that yet, but
You could say that it
yeah.
would be a cooking showdown. Okay, so what have we done for sidearms?
Well, we've done some things. Not much for the Peacemaker. It got an extra magazine.
Okay.
Like, it'll be happy with that, I guess.
And the dagger follows the general laser updates that we've done to all laser weapons.
It will gain heat more slowly.
Okay.
That also goes for size, I realized. We didn't say that. But yes, no recoil, gathers heat more slowly. We increased the damage.
Okay.
So to 250, or around 250. And it also sets enemies on fire faster.
Right, and that's 250 per second.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the CRISPR.
Yeah, it got the same deal as the other fire weapons, as
Good.
the torture. 50% more damage. They have the same damage. They also have increased armor penetration. So the difference between the CRISPR and the torture is basically, well, that it's a secondary versus a primary, but you have more fuel in your torture.
Anti-tank weapons, recoilless, quasar, commando, expendable anti-tank.
Good. They should never have nerfed the flame weapons in the first place. Because it took something that was somewhat viable against the bug enemies in the game, and they just completely threw it into the ground and just completely worthless at that point.
Spear, Patriot exosuits, and maybe more.
Yeah, there's probably something more here. SAM site rockets, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Their damage has been increased massively.
Yes. The recoilless went from 650 up to 3,200.
3,000?
And it doesn't take a math genius to figure out that that's a lot more.
It is. It is indeed. Now,
that is a huge
armored
buff,
enemies has
though.
also gone up some, not to the extent that anti-tank weapons have, and their weak spots have not gone up in.
600 to 3,000 damage for most of the explosive weaponry is a massive buff.
Health. Well, it's like the charger butt has not gone up in health. The head have, but it's a target for this type of weapons.
Okay.
And yeah, we have it basically into three type of categories, which was slightly different than they were before. So, because you have your spear, it's the big puncher. It does 4,000 damage now. So I think it's the one with the highest damage.
So you'll definitely eliminate almost anything that it hits.
Yes. I think a Bile Titan and a Factory Strider can take more than one hit.
Okay. But in two, they'll
Yes.
finito.
So then we have the recoilless rifle and the spear are the big hitters. You don't have to be that precise. If you hit the charger in the side, it'll die. And if you want to be more precise, then you have the next category of weapon, which is it's like the expandable anti-tank. It's the quasar. If you hit the head of a charger, it'll die. Also a charger behemoth. Hit the head, it'll die. Hit the side, it won't immediately die, but it will be really, really damaged.
But you'll knock it open so that other people can pour into it and so forth.
Yes. And then we have the third category, which is like the commando, the Patriot exosuit rockets. And they do a lot of damage, so you can just like pour into it and like stuff will die. Stuff will die faster than it used to, but it won't be as much of a one-shot solution.
Okay. So basically what this means for all of these dedicated anti-tank weapons, if I team up with somebody as is a reload capacity as a team weapon, you'll be able to lay down some proper fire.
Oh yeah, if you take a recoilless rifle and you have a body that reloads you, like everything goes away. As long as you have ammo, stuff will die.
Okay, so it's basically like having a delete button on hand that you use together with a friend.
Yes,
Cool,
as it should be.
as it should be.
Right.
So a grenade launcher.
Yeah, have an extra mag. Why don't you?
Yeah. Okay, so that means you have 3 belts now?
Yeah, you start with 2, and if you start with the max, then you'll have 3.
Okay.
We did increase the explosion radius a bit, because why not?
A bit.
Have
How
fun.
much is a
Blow
bit?
stuff up.
So, and what about the laser cannon? I assume it follows the rest of the lasers?
Yes, it does. But because it's AP4, it can now hurt a Bile Titan.
Oh, okay. So you will see a
Oh.
laser show of 4 laser cannon users just bringing down Bile Titans.
Yeah, if you want to do that, if you want to have a laser show and you want to kill big stuff, go ahead.
Cool. Okay. Another weapon that has been varied a little bit in efficiency is the arc thrower. What's its thing now?
Yeah, so we're bringing it back closer to its former glory, plus then some more. It is currently 35 meters. We took it up to 55.
Okay.
And it will jump additional times and branch off. So now you usually won't hit one target. It will jump around a lot more.
That's good.
And that includes your friends as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
So
Yeah. Yeah, you need the team kill in there. It's not proper Helldivers. Okay, so the arc thrower has more penetration, more range, and it can jump to more targets. So this is overall just good.
more volatile, more powerful. Kill your friends.
Yeah, and it has the stun effect.
Kill your friends.
Oh,
Arc
right,
weapons
right,
stuns
right.
now.
Okay, yeah, it follows the same logic as the Blitzer.
Yeah.
which is great, and it's that kind of consistency that we're looking through for in all of the weapon systems, so that if you know lasers, and they work the same way. The arc weapons, they work in a similar fashion.
Yeah.
So what have we done to the railgun?
We booted it up again.
All right, so the railgun, when it launched, like in the first month, it was absolutely insane. It was probably the best secondary weapon or special weapon that you can equip, because it had so much penetration. It could penetrate multiple targets, and it had such an insane amount of damage. It could take out all of the armored targets that you could ever encounter. But then they nerfed it so it couldn't penetrate armor as well, and they like reduced the damage significantly, so it was completely worthless.
So the railgun does a lot of damage to normal enemies. It didn't do that much to very large enemies and like large volume bodies, also known as the durable damage. So we kind of quadrupled that.
Quadruple the
Basically.
damage.
Okay.
From 60 to 225 in durable damage. And then to reward you properly for when you're taking risk, like just in safe mode, it will be stronger. But also remember, like the big enemies also gone up in health. So it will be stronger against them, but it still won't be like extremely strong. But by taking it into unsafe mode, we normally if you charge it up like close to full, you did 50% more damage. Now you'll do 150% more. Yeah,
Okay.
it's times 2.5 instead of times 1.5.
Right.
So you'd get properly rewarded for when you take chances.
And does it still have the same overcharge time as before?
Yes.
Okay. Stalwart follows the same logic as the Liberator. It fires the same round, so it goes from 60 to 70 damage, durable damage increase, and stagger force increase. So it is basically a high capacity Liberator that you'll be able to use more effectively now, especially against like charger butts, underside of Bile Titans, and so forth.
Yeah.
And the anti-material rifle has gone to become a proper anti-material rifle.
Yes. It's, we
they
increased
buffed
the durable damage towards like large enemies, but now their armor, like the enemy's armor is lower, so now you can actually hurt it. So if you want to take an anti-material
that's
rifle
good.
and just like unload all of that into a charger, you'll do stuff.
That's good. So this thing, it was called the anti-material rifle, but it would bounce off of enemy armor. But now they're just doing it so it can just penetrate all armor right now.
And it's not like you're gonna one-shot it in the head, but if you unload a clip in the head, I haven't done the proper math on that. I think it dies.
Yeah, it's the technical term.
Yes.
But it still it still has the kind of same use that it did before, where it's like Devastators and the Hive Guard primary targets for it. But it can also start. It's now also efficient against the heavy units.
Yes.
So a heavy machine gun is now able to defeat Charger, Bile Titan, Impaler, Hulks.
Yes, it's very satisfying.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, and it uses a roughly the same caliber ammunition as an anti-material rifle, so it also staggers better.
Oh, so they increase the stagger damage and armor penetration, so it penetrates all the armor as well.
The next one is maybe a bit controversial, but we compensated for it, and it's the Commando. It does not destroy a fabricator on one rocket anymore, but we gave the fabricator health and like a proper armor. So any weapon that has anti-tank capacity or like the railgun and stuff can destroy fabricators now. Recoilers will do it in one shot. I think like an Eater or Quasar will do it in one shot too. The Commando actually needs 2 rockets for it.
But with higher health, isn't that causing the scenario where you'll shoot it and you don't know what happens to it?
Good point. We did add some effects to it to show how damaged it is. Right. So if you take your Commando and throw 1 rocket into it, you'll notice that it's damaged.
Okay, that's actually great.
Flamethrowers in general are just like more powerful. They're back to their former glory in visuals. They're more powerful.
Good.
As it should be, right? Like we always prided ourselves that like.
No, the visuals on the flamethrowers now are so good. They leave the flame puddles on the ground. They have good range. They have good armor penetration. They can penetrate all armor now.
Our flamethrowers are good. And somehow we managed to f that up. And here we are.
Yeah, you did.
But we'll make it great again.
Yeah. And now they can also defeat enemies like the Charger, Bile Titan, Impaler, and Hulks.
Yeah, just flame away.
Oh. For grenades, we've only changed 2 grenades. It's the Frag and the Thermite, where the Thermite is probably the one that has the biggest change. It went from 100 damage to 2,000.
Yeah, wait, what?
Yeah. So, and this is to counter the increased health of the enemies, which means that you'll be able to take out those kind of heavy hitter.
Yeah, it's an anti-tank weapon, basically. It's a grenade that should kill that type of things, so it needs to do its job. So if you take a Thermite and you chuck it on the Charger, and it sticks to the body or its head or something, it's gonna die.
That's wild. They buffed it. It was doing 100 damage. Now it does 2,000. That's a times 20 buff to the damage output on that thing.
Cool.
You can carry less of them though. You only get 3.
The 500 kilo bomb radius is...
It's back, baby. No, wait. It never was here. It is now what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. The 500 kilo bomb radius is as the visual explosion says that it should be. So it'll blow up a lot of enemies.
We adjusted all the other like barrages, etc., to match for the health increase of the big enemies. They should feel roughly the same, maybe a bit more powerful. Like big booms should boom big.
Yeah.
Yeah, big booms should boom big. So the 500 kilogram, it was supposed to be what you would have in your arsenal as like a mini nuke that you could call down an enemy, and it just, the explosion radius was so small compared to its visuals that it was only useful for like key moments for taking out giant enemies.
The orbital barrages, eagle airstrikes, orbital ray cannon, etc., just to be able to mitigate those enemies. But it also means that if you hit smaller enemies, they'll basically obliterate them immediately.
Yeah. And the orbital rail cannon will one-shot a Bile Titan.
That's another buff.
Yeah. Okay, so the Emancipator, with its 4 autocannons, we've adjusted the fire rate on each of the weapons from 125 to 175, which means that you'll be able to do more burst damage.
Yeah, you can fire more, and because you want to fire more, we also gave you more ammo.
Oh, so
you get a 100 shots per arm instead of 75.
okay, so 200 total, and then a faster fire rate.
Yes, and we more than doubled the damage versus durable, so you can now properly use it against Bile Titan chargers and heavy stuff.
That's really
nice.
good.
And
That's really good. I tried the Emancipator. It actually does significant damage to heavy enemies now. So they doubled the fire rate, they increased the damage, and because the armor ratings of enemies have decreased, the autocannon does not bounce off of the massive targets like Bile Titans or the Factory Striders.
we're back.
Yes, never left.
Right. Imagine just saying we're back when you just go to the next cut. That's dumb. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the gameplay changes to enemies. There's lots of things that we've done, and it's in the sort of in the spirit of like, yes, weapons are more powerful in this update. It is going to be much more engaging to play, but with that, to retain some of that challenge, we've really taken a good hard look at a lot of the enemies. Hulks, another fan favorite, or well, probably my nemesis. It kills me more than any other enemy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I always die to them.
All right. More weapons can damage it, like it has lower armor, but we decrease the health of the weak spot, or like on the back, so they'll be easier to destroy. We did also increase. I thought the bruisers, they didn't do that much usually. So we increased how often they fire, and we ripped their, I think it's left arm off, and the rocket launcher, and we gave them an energy cannon instead.
Okay, that's great, because it will cause me to ragdoll less.
Yeah, you'll just take a lot of damage when it hits you.
Okay, so it's
There's enough rockets on the bot side.
yeah, I know, and you've said so as well.
Yeah.
That when playing against the bots, you are often just rolling around in the dirt.
Yeah.
So usually the bots aren't. Everyone goes fights the bugs because the bugs are a little more fun to play against. So that's why there's barely any people that play against the automatons because of stupid nonsense like getting one shot in the head with a rocket launcher.
What is up then with the Devastators, like rocket Devastators,
Right.
specifically?
Yeah, very specifically, yes. So the rocket devastators, they have limited ammo. When they fire a rocket, you'll see one go away. And I think they can only fire like 3 bursts or something of it, and then they need to reload because they have an extra pack of rockets on the back. They can reload once. Then they're out of rockets.
So basically, I'm hiding behind a rock. They blow their load all over me.
Wait,
and
what?
then I can move out of cover.
Yes. If you hide behind a rock, they'll eventually run out of rock. That's
Yeah, it'll be a little bit of a walk of shame, but I think that's nice. Cool. And
yeah, we should also mention the collision of the rockets is smaller.
okay.
So you used to be able to, like, the rocket actually missed you, but it exploded anyway, and then you ragdolled.
Okay, and how? So let's say a rocket is like this big.
Yeah,
How much bigger was the collision box for the rocket then?
about that big.
Okay, so
We reduced it by 80%.
okay, do gunships as well run out of ammo now?
Yes. Yes, they do.
They do?
Well, moving from
Okay, so that's nice, because that honestly, that makes sense that they'd run out of ammo for rockets, be able to fire their lasers infinitely. So that's good. That's good. That'll help out against the automatons when people try and fight them.
long-ranged blowy up things to close-range choppy chop things.
Right. My favorite.
Berserkers.
Yes. The berserkers. So we decreased the health a little bit, and for some reason they had a little bit more health in the head than a devastator.
Okay.
So I don't know why, but that's gone now. And the devastators, they have the abdomen is like a weak spot for them. It wasn't for the berserkers, so now it is.
Okay, so it's making creating the consistency between the devastators and the berserkers.
Yes.
Okay, one of the things that the community has commented on the most, I think, is the charger.
Yes.
What's our perspective on the charger? What have we done and why?
Right. So the charger is like, it's often there. It used to be very armored, and it was like hard to tackle. You needed the right tools, and usually you ran out of, like, I don't have more rockets now, so I guess I'll just drown in chargers. Well, we lowered the armor, as we said before. You have a lot of more tools that can actually deal with it. We lowered the health of the butt. So that is easier to destroy. We also lowered the armor significantly on the belly. You can actually take a Liberator and shoot it in the belly if you're, for some reason, under it. You
like
probably
you are,
shouldn't.
occasionally.
You probably shouldn't be there, but if you can find the belly, like, it's much more vulnerable now.
So if you find the charger of the rock, then you'll be able to defeat it from the front, from underneath.
Yes. The charger of the rock, it will be less of a menace.
What is this? What is its wisdom?
Yeah. We also made sure that when you blow off a side or the butt, how much damage you do to the insides when you've exposed its gooey center, you do 100% more damage now to it.
Okay, so basically you expose its inner organs, and bullets hurt it in the organs.
Yeah, you'd think that would be obvious.
Yeah, cool.
But also, let's go into this charge.
Yeah, because one of the things that really frustrated me when playing the game is the way that the charger passed me, and I was gonna lay into it with the stalwart, and it immediately turned around.
It's a classic 180 charge scope.
Yeah.
So, first of all, it charges less often.
Okay.
So when you have a lot, like, especially when you have several chargers, like, there's just like a bullfighting fest going on. It will be less so. But it turns slower. Like, when it's charging, it will turn slightly slower, and then when it's not charging, so when it has completed its charge, needs to turn around, or you're trying to get around it, it will turn, I think it's around half the speed. It's still not like super slow to turn, but it is less of a, I'm just gonna turn instantly.
Right, it gives me a little bit more of a chance, but with that, it also means that it will charge less often, but it also has to turn around, which is a little bit slower, which means that it will charge even less. So fighting multiple chargers at any one time won't be like a mad bull rush constantly hurling at you.
But to compensate for that, and because it's logical, when you get hit by the charger, it'll hurt more.
So you mean that this like 5 ton, 10 ton, 15 ton,
something like that,
bus hitting me will hurt?
Yeah, I mean, it's an outrageous proposition, I know, but
no way.
Yeah, it'll hurt.
Okay, so one of the more recent additions to the bug horde, the Impaler.
So it also has lower armor.
Right.
So you can use more weapons to kill it. It's like exposed head has less health, so it'll die pretty fast. But to compensate, the tentacles that just ragdolled you all the time and basically didn't do much damage at all, they won't ragdoll you as much because you'll die faster.
Oh.
It'll do a lot more damage.
Checks out, because it's a big stabby pointy thing, and it probably weighs lots of pounds or kilos or whatever weight measurement you use. So, and it comes down at a broad rapid speed.
Yeah, it looks like it will.
So I was fighting this thing a little while ago, and you can actually kill these things really easily with flamethrowers now. Because I found the flamethrowers, the primary flamethrowers like the Scorcher or a Torch or whatever it's called, is really good because it can penetrate almost anything as a primary weapon, and you can take down these impalers and chargers easily with that flamer.
It will smush you, and it will.
Oh, well, checks out. And then we noticed some other issues with the Impaler as well. Like it had the camera shake with it was way too aggressive.
Yeah.
There's some just quality of life things that we've fixed for it.
Yeah. So we lowered the camera shake because it got into some sort of like roller coaster situation where it's just like I can't really see what I'm doing, and we also lowered the damage you need to do to them to retract. So if you just like put some fire into them, they will like go down again.
Okay, right. So even if I don't have the anti-tank weapons or something with a high damage output, I can just ensure that it retracts its tentacles to protect itself.
Yeah.
How about Bile Titans then?
Yeah, I
The
mean,
big boys.
yeah, like the whole thing with our changing of health, but it is like the underside of it. Like when you destroy its belly, it can't puke anymore, and then it used to be kind of armored on the downside, even though it was very fleshy and it was weird. And you guys have told us that it's weird. We agree. So it's unarmored basically underneath now. It'll still take a lot of bullets to take it down. Like it is smart. It's a bigger enemy. You should probably use something that explodes, because explosions works very well against exposed flesh.
Right.
Who could have known?
So a grenade launcher is going to be more effective. I assume the autocannon will have an improved effect on it if you hit its underside.
Yeah.
Flamethrower.
Yes, definitely.
So standing under it, flame upwards.
Yes.
Maybe not the safest spot to be, but
no, but you know,
but it
when
is
you're
cool.
a Helldiver,
Like you want to stand under a big enemy and just flame upwards.
you're a Helldiver in a war zone. Nothing is a safe spot. So you just like go for glory.
Go for glory.
Why not?
Was that the end of it? That was the patch notes? Okay, so all the patch notes seem really good. All the patch notes seem really good. So going forward, they definitely need to not nerf things anymore. They need to buff the weaker weapons to actually be comparable to some of the stronger weapons. They can still add harder difficulties and new enemy types that will be a little more difficult, which is they should do that instead of trying to nerf things. Okay, so all of the buffs are really good. They need to continue this instead of trying to nerf it. Why they decided to nerf things in the first place was very weird. It was very weird. But anyway, if you like this, leave a like, leave a follow, consider subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.